Okay guys, welcome to Crazy Burger. There's been a lot of news recently announced about the Evercade, and I thought I might as well make a video about it and cover it. There's been so much things covered and announced that I've really started to lose track of it a little bit myself. And there's been so many things going on with releases of VS's, new handhelds, etc, etc. But anyway, let's start by having a look at some of the announcements that's been made. Going back to the day one patch. Now if you've got your Evercade VS now, don't forget to update the day one patch, which has got all the details here. It's really just going to the settings, check for updates and update it to make sure you've got the latest firmware updated to the console. And I'm sure this will be updated constantly as we go. And some sort of details here of what's actually included in the update. Now there will be an update on the firmware for the handheld very soon. It may well be next week. Which will bring a lot of changes, because it's almost been a year since we've had an update to the handheld, and it's going to be, I think, drastically different, and a lot of bug fixing that's been going over the last year. So hopefully that will drop next week and we'll cover it when it actually does. So guys, there was also an update on the Evercade VS release dates, updates on some of the shipping updates. Now we already had the first shipping of the Evercade VS received, but that was only about 1700 VS units for the Founders Edition, that is. But we're still waiting on that second container with the rest, which should be hopefully any time in the next week or so. But we've got some new release dates for the standard editions, so you should start to see the sort of standard VS editions, Premier and standard packs or starter packs in the UK and the EU from December the 8th through to 14th. Obviously if you are out with those regions, then there are slight delays. For Germany, Australia, US and Canada, it's more likely going to be January 2022. But if you live in the UK or the EU, you start to see some of the VS. If you've ordered through Argos or Game or Amazon, you should start to see your VS White Edition, the standard edition, any day now. I don't know, I've seen a lot of people on social media already posting pictures of the sort of Premier pack and the starter pack, so hopefully everyone will start to receive them soon, and this community will start to grow and grow as we sort of go through. So next on the list, we're going to have a look at an announcement that Evercade made during the week there, looking forward to 2022. There's a lot of information in here that's definitely worth going over. And they're obviously talking about the VS a little bit and when it's getting released, some delays to the dates. Okay, they've got here that obviously they released 12 cartridges in 2021, which was fantastic, but if you actually break it down, there was at least a 6-month period between 2020 and 2021 where we didn't have any releases at all. From November to April 2021 we didn't have anything, so obviously it was 12 and it does seem like one a month, but realistically there was gaps here and there was delays. But if you count them all, yep, we did have 12 cartridges eventually. And obviously if you're living outside the EU, UK and you didn't get a Founders Edition, you probably won't see some of these cartridges till early next year in 2022. But realistically, yeah, they did release 12 cartridges, some really good ones in there, some so-so ones, but yeah, they definitely are doing a lot of good stuff for sure. So we've got some Evercade VS, it's got built-in Wi-Fi, there's a day one patch that we've just said, and they're hoping to bring more features through 2022 as we go. Hopefully we'll get some multiplayer stuff, maybe online leaderboards, etc, that kind of thing, and maybe be able to update the handheld via firmware update through the VS, which would be quite cool. And we'll hopefully see, as I said, the release of the firmware version 2.0 at some point. I guess we should see it before Christmas at least, which should be really good. It's quite a significant update as well. So there's a lot going on. They're obviously talking here now about pricing updates, which is a bit, I guess it's probably unavoidable. It seems quite a jump to me though, that the Evercade handheld rise to $19.99 for the premium pack, $79.99 for the starter pack, which I think it sounds like about a £20 jump to me. I suppose it's not bad, it's still reasonably reasonable, but I think it might be a little bit less affordable for some. It might not sound as nice as $59.99 if you were buying the sort of starter pack, but yeah, I suppose it's unavoidable that they need to introduce some price increases next year. So if you're thinking of getting an Evercade, I would hurry up and get one now before the actual prices come into effect next year. Also there's some price increase is going to happen with the cartridges. From January the 1st, there's going to be price increase from $15.99 to $17.99, and obviously there's different prices. It's going to remain as $19.99 in the States due to this tax and differences across the different regions. So that's fine for them, but for us it's a couple of quid more expensive than it is already. Not too bad. I mean, I think we were kind of expecting it, but yeah, it's kind of a tough one to swallow. Hopefully we get a lot of good games releases to make up for the price increase through that. And some unfortunate news here as well, that the Namco Collection 1 and 2, the licenses for these will cease to exist in June 2022, which means they will no longer make these carts. Worse for Technos Collection 1 and Oliver Twins, they both end in March 2022, which means you won't be able to buy them in the shops after that. So if you want to buy these carts, I would hurry up and get out there and purchase them as soon as possible. There's something also about the Namco Collection. We were kind of hoping we might see these on the VS, but the fact that the licensing is going to run out in June means it's unlikely we'll ever actually see these in the VS, unless they actually come to some agreement before then, which, you know, it might happen. We'll just need to wait and see. But anyway, if you want these cartridges, don't hang about and go get them as soon as possible. So we're talking about, there's lots of merchandise appearing on Funstock as well. We've got the purple handheld released, which is actually really good. It's a lot better than you maybe think. It's got a brighter screen, and it does make a difference to the viewing angles too. And the D-pad's been strengthened. Not a massive difference, right enough, but it is a nice handheld. But it's not on offer anymore, but I think they may still have stock left. I think they were down to about 5% out of the initial 1,000 run that they were actually doing. And you can still pick up some t-shirts as well. And a little thank you here at the end from Andrew, just basically the great support. Looking forward to 2022. So you may have noticed or not the Evercade Hotline that was introduced as a tongue-in-cheek. Obviously it was not serious, just a little bit of laugh and a bit of a sort of hark back to the days when we had to sort of helplines for cheats and game tips, etc. But if you phoned that line, you would have got through. It was only 2p per minute, so it was clearly tongue-in-cheek. It wasn't serious. It was just a relatively cheap. They weren't making a whole load of money from it. But if you want to level up, get some hints and tips in the latest releases, you want to learn some secrets, you want to learn about the actual upcoming cartridge that they actually announced on here rather than online for a change, then you would have got it on this line. And it was kind of funny. If you want to hear a quick idea of what to expect.
Do you play Evercade? Do you want to level up your gaming? Do you want to know the latest secrets? Then call the Evercade Hotline today. Call 0845 561 5601 for all the Evercade excitement you can handle. Get all the latest news and announcements from...
So today they announced the Gremlin Collection 1, which, if you don't know, they were a well-known UK company that generally made a lot of sort of Amiga games, ST games, but they made games for everybody. Zool pretty much appeared on every format you could probably think of. So there was Gremlin Graphics and Gremlin Interactive, and I guess they must have merged, but they don't actually exist. They were bought over by a company, I'm not sure who it was, but these are the 6 games that are going to appear. You've got Action Soccer, PlayStation game, which isn't bad, Brainbender, which is a Game Boy sort of puzzle game, Hardcore 4x4, which is a kind of a super off-road kind of 3D racing game, another PlayStation game, Premier Manager 97, which is obviously a football management game on the Mega Drive, Utopia, Creation of a Nation, which is SNES, and Zool, which is the Mega Drive version, which is quite good. Not a lot of games. I personally would have liked to have seen a few more, like Supercars, maybe the Lotus series, but we know that's going to be a licensed nightmare, and maybe even Actua Golf, which I really loved. So this Gremlin cart will be released alongside Renovation. We'll have a look at that in a minute as well. It will be released in the end of March 2022, but if you want to pre-order this, it will be available for pre-order 15th of December at your usual retailers. So let's have a look at the Renovation collection. So here's the actual carts here. There's the Gremlin collection that they've got, the actual cover, which is, it's actually really nice. I really love the design of these covers, and it's got all the games and loads of details. It's a couple of 2-player games here as well, if you want to sort of have a look at it. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to look at this yourself. But also let's have a look at the Renovation collection. I've played all the games here. I'll leave links in the description if you want to actually look at these carts in more detail, look at the actual games. But here they actually released the cover details as well last week, which looks great. I think they've done a fantastic job in the design of these carts. They're really nice. If you want to look at these games, then by all means I'll leave a link in the description. You can watch my sort of videos that I made of these. I mean, both these carts, they've got games that are some good, some not so good, but you know, they appeal to everyone. There's games that you may think are terrible, but someone will probably like them. You know, Beast Wrestler. Yeah, but there's a lot of decent games on this one. I think there was a piece on the cost of these games if you wanted to actually buy them as physical carts, and they're not cheap, that's for sure. So be able to buy these for, I guess it'll be $17.99 now. This is probably a bargain. So guys, I'll leave you with some sneak previews of me playing the Gremlin cart and the Renovation cart, which are upcoming at the end of March. Thanks for watching, bye for now. Let's have a quick bash at Zool. I think it was an Amiga attempt to sort of make a Sonic sort of style game, it's like a competitor on the Amiga, on Atari ST, and it probably didn't quite succeed, I guess, but it's not bad. That was an accident. So it's typical football, but that camera does play a little bit of havoc in playing the game. It kind of swings all over the place, and it does make it a little bit tricky to know where you are at times. Of course, 4x4. It's kind of fun, you know, it's not bad. The controls are a bit sort of sensitive right enough, it's kind of tricky. I suppose you might get used to that eventually. There's certainly a little bit of fun to have. Fair marker up the top corner left here. You can go through and buy players, sell players. It's kind of a bit boring. I wish it would probably be like go even faster. Oh yeah, you can go even very fast. It zips through it. But you kind of miss. I think fast is probably better, but you kind of get bored watching it sometimes. But so far our team's doing quite good. We've got 3 shots on target. Yeah, you got ultra speed. We'll just zoom right through the game. Let's get stuck in. Again, this is another sort of in-depth game. Oh yeah, Hard Tart is the one where you actually can build things. I think we need to start building some houses, I believe, to start. As you go start getting complaints, there's this different sort of buildings you can start building. You'll get some hints and tips as you go. So I think we need some living quarters to start with. Yeah, let's put them, let's see, where are we going to put them? So we'll start building somewhere, let's see. Not too close to some of these buildings right enough. Let's see, build here. Yep, build more. Not sure if anyone will remember this. You may not. It's a puzzle style game where you need to sort of line up the lasers with the mirrors, so to speak, to sort of complete the levels. You just need to try and sort of make the mirrors go through these ball things. I'm not really sure what they are. Oh, go back the way as well. Let's do that. I'm running out of time here. Oh, I think I'm going to run out of time. Oh, maybe not. So we've got 4 characters to actually choose from. So this is a kind of a isometric style shooting RPG, not so much an RPG game, but I mean it has RPG elements. But it's more or less like a scrolling shoot 'em up almost. And you can tell the sound effects graphically, it's very much Mega Drive or Genesis, whatever region you come from. Beast Wrestler. Again, another game, definitely never played this. I find that the moves feel very basic and it does get rather boring and repetitive. And I'll be honest, I don't know what some of the moves are. There's really 2 buttons to choose from. There's a punch and this sort of tail swipe thing. Definitely a bit of a button basher, which I guess that's what wrestling games tend to be like a little. I honestly can't see me playing this one more than once. Well, that's horrible. I'm sorry, Blaze, that is absolutely horrible. Okay, next game is Dino Land, which is a pinball game. Well, the sound effects kind of makes me sound, let's play Dizzy. So it's a nice bog standard pinball game. It plays quite well. guess we'll just need to hit as much things as possible and light up all the lights and not let the ball drop. It's a kind of a, I don't know best to describe it, kind of a Castlevania come Shinobi come Shadow Warriors style platform game, and it looks like, I don't know what these, like Dick Tracy characters or something. Private Eyes that you're taking down, so it's a very strange mix of games. It plays really well, very responsive, and it's quite good fun to play. So next game on the list is Exile, which is an RPG game. Now this one has different styles, so you start off, you've got this top down RPG standard view, and then when you sort of move to some of the other locations, you move to a sort of a scrolling sort of shooter beat 'em up game, which is quite interestingly done. And you've got some characters here that you need to sort of join up into your party. So this is where the gameplay elements change a little bit, and then suddenly we have got a side scrolling slash 'em up. And it's pretty tricky though, but it's fun. This is cool. Definitely quite enjoyable. And you play a sort of a robot mech. And one of the issues I have with this game is the isometric style again is a bit of a pain. For shooting purposes, you really need to stop shooting so you can change sort of direction, which is really annoying. But yeah, even in saying that, this is actually really good fun. It's a really good game. A little bit of aimless wandering right enough till you find the actual enemies. I guess I'm really just going about shooting everything. I'm down to 12 now. My health bar is horribly low. Okay, guys, next on the list is Gaiares, which is a shoot 'em up. Yep, unfortunately this isn't my favourite style of game at all. But I'm not going to dismiss it just because of that. Let's get stuck into it and let's see what it's like. I think graphically it's not too bad. Got this sort of little additional part here which can attach to enemies and sort of destroy them for you. I find that just holding down the button rather than constantly pressing the button seems to be a better option. So this game you can actually see there's a radar in the bottom right where you've got all the red sort of part where you've got all the enemies. You need to clear the level of all the red sort of dots and enemies. Easier said than done. And the style of this game and looking at the radar actually reminds me of Rally X for some reason. Obviously it doesn't play like that, but just the way the sort of radar goes, which reminds me of Rally X. Now this one I definitely prefer to the other shoot 'em up on the list. It seems certainly a lot more responsive and more playable, but kinda similar. I don't think this one is quite as difficult. Okay, next game is Terezia, which you could probably guess this is an RPG. You can see you start off with the usual. You start off in a village, aimless wandering about till you figure out what the heck to do. So I feel that the character responsive on this is just terrible. You can't really run or anything. At times I just feel as if the characters are still moving after I've pressed. Okay, I really don't have good first impressions of this game at all. A lot of aimless wandering about, not really clear where it's supposed to go. Oh my goodness, this is just terrible. Their controls are unresponsive. It's not clear what you're supposed to do. I mean, I don't really see me playing this at any length at all, even when I get the actual Evercade cart. But let's get stuck in, let's have a look at this Phallus one. So kind of play a schoolgirl. Japanese one I guess, and you have a few different controls to your disposal. You get your standard jump button, and you've got this slidey action, and you've got a kind of a sword that you can use, and you can also get power ups to make it more effective as you go through the level. So at the moment it's really quite weak, the sword, but when you get power-ups it definitely helps. You feel a lot sort of stronger. Here we go, this is probably one of the first power-ups, and it does help. Too far away to do anything here, aren't I? Ah! Need to be careful with these sort of jumping platforms things. You definitely need the extra long jump. Or the extra high jump. We'll need that. And I think graphically this game probably looks better than the first one, but I'm not sure it's a better game though. It feels a little bit trickier to play. There's a sort of these annoying sort of jumping sequences which you can die quite easily from. Sort of get enemies appear randomly just as you're about to jump, which is quite annoying. Bye for now, folks.